Good evening, my fair lady. I know that it's decorum for one of your sisters to introduce me, but they seemed a bit preoccupied at the moment, and I dare say that all of them will be swept up with partners for the rest of the night. I apologize, miss. I did not mean that as a slight. I know not of any lady, no matter how fair, that never went without a partner. Oh, come now. I hardly think that you should feel ashamed of it. At any rate, I had been told you much prefer the company of books. Very wise of you, I think. After all, reading offers far less in the way of stepped-on toes. As I'm sure you can tell, I have never been much inclined to balls myself. There's far too much fanfare, and you can never get to know somebody properly at a ball, only their footwork. And I think there are just as many wonderful ladies with clubbed toes, don't you? You are quite right. I have never been much of a dancer myself. How did you ever guess? Was it my general disdain for the balls, or did you notice I've been stuck to the back doorway all evening? You'll have to forgive me. I know I ought not to speak with such scorn, especially when your father's been kind enough to host me. But one cannot help but wish that there were quieter manners for entertaining large groups of people. Yes, libraries can be just as beautiful as ballrooms, and far less noisy. Well, your sisters might disagree. However, I doubt any of them have reflected on that matter as much as you have. I did not intend to imply you are often partnerless, miss. I merely meant to suggest that, though I've only known you a short time, I've gathered that you are particularly thoughtful. At any rate, I approached you to ask if you might care for a walk to escape the frivolity of this whole affair for a moment. Admittedly, in speaking with you, I've become decreasingly confident in the success of my endeavor. But, if you will still have me... Thank you, miss. I will much enjoy your company. Care to show me the garden? Yes, I suppose it would have been proper for me to speak with your father first. But I assumed that you would not mind. And your eyes tell me that I'm correct. It's quite all right. You needn't hide your hatred of him from me. I have never found disrespect to be unbecoming, at least not when that disrespect is earned, and he has more than earned it. Even in the 3 days that I have known him, it has become apparent that he favors your sisters. He speaks so highly of them, while you so often seem to remain an afterthought. I know it's not my place to speak of such things, but I believe it to be true. I can tell that your mind knows it as well, even if your lips would not dare speak of it. I saw that dirty look that you gave him when he asked you to stop playing the piano. You wanted to tell him off. I wish that you would have too. I thought your playing was lovely. I know that he wanted you to give your sister a turn, but she was hardly ready to perform for company. She only knew simple tunes and quiet melodies. They were all the same ones I have heard young ladies play in every parlor. Yes, the songs are pleasant, but common. Most ladies only ever learn the few verses they need to delight some gentleman who is already far too taken with them. But not you, though. You must be quite a natural talent. Otherwise, you would have been practicing for ages to learn songs as complex. Oh, so it was practice. Well, that's all the more admirable. After all, talent is given, but perseverance is chosen. Therefore, the latter is much better to hold, but far more difficult to attain. You think I'm merely being polite, but I assure you I'm not. I am not one to lie, especially not to the night air in a woman that I deeply admire. I just told you that my lips will not honor any omissions tonight. So, I see no reason to conceal the fact that I admire you. Besides, someone must compensate for your family's indifference towards you. It seems such a shame to have your talent ignored. I know they find you plain, but you certainly are not in terms of perseverance. Oh, was there another sense of plain that you were worried about? Perhaps it is a bit unconventional in me, but I have never looked kindly on men who compare their daughters' appearances. Beauty is far too subjective of a matter, and it is better judged by warm hearts than by critical eyes. I would never call you plain, though. I must be honest, please excuse my nerves. I think your family lacked the forethought by attempting to pair me with your younger sister. While she is perfectly nice, as the elder, you should have been chosen first. It would have been the proper thing to do, and it would have been the choice I would have preferred. Although my time here has been brief, I am certain that your sister and I would not be a good match. However, I would quite like to dance with you. Yes, I was being honest when I said that I detested dancing. But I do not think that I would mind it half as much with you in my arms. No, no. There's no need to go back inside. The moonlight is much better company than prying eyes. And your company is much better than either. So, may I have your hand? Thank you, my dear. Now, shall we entertain the stars